Hello! It is the end of the week, so I will be as brief as I can. I will be as brief as I can, even. No do-overs either. So, what did I do this week? I wanted to make sure that I got a second video out in this series. I want to try and keep the habit up. So, this week actually was in spite of what went out the door, it was a good week in terms of what got done. I revisited from a series of Alexa Live videos. There's a really great template for context-based design for Alexa skills. So I went back, dug that up, and at some point in the near future, going out on my Instagram will be a picture, probably at the start of next week, of design for Tavern Blackjack with just sheets of paper using this template. So that's been super helpful because that's going to lead into the design considers things in a way. Take a step back from there. I'd started by designing skills using flowcharts, but flowcharts don't make sense in terms of Alexa skills because every time you interact with an Alexa skill, it's always, here is the thing I say. And so then basically from there, you've got your input, consider your context, what is the output. So it's a really helpful way of looking at design there. So I did a bunch of work on that on Monday, and then I forced myself, even though I was really feeling that, I forced myself to stop and do some research on a possibility, on a potential opportunity for a different skill. Something that I think I'm going to be able to get out the door really quickly and I think has got real teeth. It's in addition to the initial 6 that I put together. And so now, at the end of the week, I've got contracts in place for my writer that I'm dealing with. I've got my logo design happening. So that's all done. That's all happening. And at least the writing side of things will be ready for next week. So I'm going to be in the booth recording some voiceover as well as doing some development next week. So I'm excited about that. I mean, there wasn't a lot of work on my side that it took to get that done. And I think that can be a real trap that I fall into sometimes. What is the amount of effort that I put into something as opposed to what is the output? And that's something I've really got to divorce myself from. It's not about the amount of effort that goes in. It's about the outcome that comes out. And so having both of those happen in the background on my behalf is fantastic. I'm also working on a voiceover opportunity which I think is both going to be really exciting. I've read through some of the text already, and it's delicious text, and I'm going to enjoy bringing life to it. But I'm also arranging a work in trade for some composing, which is a skill that I absolutely cannot do myself. Like I am a budding sound designer in terms of what I'm putting together, but composing, no, that's outside of my wheelhouse. So I've got some composing work that I'll be getting out of that, which is going to inform a couple of trailers that I'll be putting together for skills. So I'm really excited about that because marketing is super important. One of those is a short-term skill that I'm putting a trailer together for. One is a long-term skill that I really want to put blood in the water for. So those are the big things that I got done this week, which I'm really happy about. The other thing I also did as well is I went and ordered a new batch of t-shirts to wear because at the moment I'm wearing men's medium t-shirts, and even though in some ways like I feel the strongest and the most capable I have felt probably in years, because of the pandemic I have to acknowledge that I absolutely have at the same time put on weight, as a lot of people have, and that's making me feel uncomfortable. So I ordered some large shirts because I wanted to wear something that was comfortable as opposed to wearing something that was a constant reminder of the fact that I want to get that weight down. Because even though restrictions have lifted in Melbourne, life is still a thing. Like it's still stressful. So I don't want to have that constant reminder, that constant nagging almost, with the tightness of fabric. Like I like how I look in a medium t-shirt, but I recognize that it feels uncomfortable. So I think that's going to be good for headspace as well. Next week, I've got 3 days I know what I'm going to be doing with those 3 days. I'm going to be following on with some of the work that I've done this week, some of the seeds that I've laid. I'm going to be doing some development and some design work, which I'm going to be super excited about, primarily on Tavern Blackjack and also on this other opportunity that I've identified. So that's what's coming up, and that's what's happened this week. So in spite of the fact that there's only been 2 days this week that I've been working on my own time, why 2 days? I'm glad you asked. It's because Halloween is coming up this weekend, and I've got my regular Tavern of Voices workout that I'll be running on Saturday, which means that's 3 hours out of Halloween. So I wanted to give a day of just being able to celebrate Halloween and just be able to be with the family, which I'm really going to enjoy. So I made a conscious decision to give myself that time to put the day aside just to be with family and to celebrate Halloween, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to be doing a Halloween stream on the weekend as well. So that's where I'm at. So to recap, this week I have dug up and utilized a really valuable design paradigm for Alexa skills, and so that's going to become a standard part of my process going forward. I took some time to research the viability of, and then put together contracts for and source work for a skill that I'm going to be able to get out into the market very quickly. And those are the big ones. Oh yeah, and also organize work and trade for some voiceover work that I'm doing as well. So it was a good week. It was a good week for 2 days work. Good week. All right. I hope that you are well and you are safe and life is treating you well. I will see you again next week, if not before. See you then.